Hello world, Shelly here. Happy New Year! And as we roll into 2020, I figured we would start by taking a look back at my favorite products of 2019. This is going to be the best of face makeup video, so primers, concealers, and foundations. The way I will go through these lists are from, I don't want to say worst to best because they're all favorites, so none of them are the worst. These are all the best of the best, but from the lowest ranked to the highest ranked. And these are not necessarily products that were released in 2019. I maintain my favorites list from year to year, and at the end of each year I look at it, see if anything new that came out or anything new that I have tried bumps off something else on the list, which always happens. So some of this came out this year in 2019, some of it came out previously and has just continued on in my favorites, and my nose itches so much right now. Oh, I can't really itch it, can I? Oh. Let's start out with primers. I've got 5 favorite primers of the year to share with you. In the 5th spot, I have the Revlon Photo Ready Pore Reducing Primer. This to me is an inexpensive version of the Benefit Porefessional primer, which I love, but this works so similarly that it's really hard to justify spending the extra money on the Porefessional. I did just pick up the new release of Porefessional. I think it's a Luminous Porefessional, something like that. I haven't tried it yet. But anyway, in 5th place, I'm going with the Revlon because it's inexpensive. It is like Photoshop for your face. When my pores are screaming, I just press this into those areas, specifically for me, like right here, and they disappear. It just smooths them away. I use this usually on top of whatever other primer I'm using on my whole face. So this I just concentrate in my pore areas and it works wonderfully. In 4th place is my beloved Tatcha Silk Canvas. And I'm going to put a tie for the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer because I did a side-by-side half-and-half face test of these two, and they look almost identical. The e.l.f. is far less expensive. The one thing you do get by spending the money on the Tatcha is better ingredients. So if you're just looking for the beautiful silk canvas face, go for the e.l.f. But if you are concerned about the quality of the ingredients and the additional potential skincare benefits of the Tatcha, it's definitely worth the money in my book. I enjoy them both, but I tend to reach for the Tatcha quite a bit more. But you know I crush on Tatcha. I love them. In 3rd place, this has slipped actually a couple spots because 2 new releases from this year have knocked it down. But you know I love this one. It is the Strifectin Line Blur Factor. I've been through probably 10 tubes of this at this point in my life. This stuff is just great. It doesn't dry my skin out. I like to focus it specifically on my smile line areas, in between my eyebrows, that little texture there. It's meant for smoothing out lines and wrinkles. You can also use it up under your eyes, but I find that it also helps smooth texture. So I do take this all over my face. It is just wonderful for smoothing, especially so I have more texture on this side of my face, and that's where this really comes in handy. Helps prolong the wear of makeup just a bit as well. Love this stuff. I don't think it'll ever fall off of my favorites list. Number 2. I have a bunch of these and I love them all. Some of them I purchased, some of them I was sent in PR. It is from CoverGirl. Whoopsie. It is the True Blend Base Business. The first one I ever purchased was the Everyday Defense. This is an SPF 20 primer. And my thought on SPF is you can never have enough of it. And so that's the first one that I had purchased. Then 2 of these came in PR and one of them I purchased. I can't remember which one I purchased. I want to say I purchased the skin smoothing and then I was sent the moisturizing and the pore minimizing in PR. None of these dry my skin out. I can use them on my entire face. The pore minimizing really does minimize my pores without drying my skin out, and it's almost an unheard of combination because most primers that are for pore minimizing will suck the oil out of your skin, and if you already have dry skin, it exasperates it, but this does not. The skin smoothing is what I'm wearing today. It is just a very nice silicone type primer that smooths the skin, and of course the moisturizing is for deeper hydration, which as we get deeper into winter, I definitely need. I love all of these. I think there's one other one in the line. Can't remember. Think there is. Can't think of it. These are great. My number one is a recent find, and normally I would hesitate to put it on my favorites, having only used it for a month or so, but it's so good, you guys. It is from Good Molecules, the silicone-free priming moisturizer, and I would say this specifically knocked the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer out of my top 5 because this is not only acting as a moisturizer, but it's got that typical little bit of grip that a nice silicone type primer has, but it has no silicone. It's got a plant-derived substitute for silicone, and it is just super, super, super nice. I like it. Extends the wear of makeup, adds moisture to my skin as opposed to drying me out. This has taken the cake for me this year in the primer category. Let's talk concealers. I have an honorable mention because this would have been my 5th place, but since the company's gone bankrupt, and I don't know how you'll ever be able to get it if they ever come back online again, it's the Laura Geller Filter First. It is a nice light coverage. It does not accentuate lines under the eyes. I really love this stuff. It's very hydrating, and I hope that Laura Geller is able to come back into the world because I love her blushes as well, and hopefully they are not gone for good, but I'm putting that as an honorable mention in case you can't get it. So that puts in 5th place from Ilia the True Skin Serum Concealer. Similar concept. The idea is hydrating, does not make my under eye look crepey, does not settle into my under eye lines. It's pretty light coverage, so it's not going to be a full coverage kind of a concealer. And, you know, I have dark circles that I do like more coverage most of the time, but for a light makeup day, it is fantastic and wonderfully hydrating. Next, in 4th place, I've got the Conceal and Hydrate, and I didn't have the best first impression of this compared to the Conceal and Define. I would say actually both of them could be at 4th place at this point because I really do enjoy this quite a bit. It's just a nice, it doesn't look dry under the eyes, and same thing, it gives you a little bit more coverage than these other ones, but doesn't dry out the under eye. It doesn't settle into the fine lines or accentuate them. So, you know, that's what I've got going on under my eyes. And concealer, I'm very, 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 very picky with my concealers. So I didn't have the best first impression of the Conceal and Hydrate version, but that has changed. I do enjoy it a bit more. Maybe now that it's been opened a few times. You know how mascara is sometimes like that? I don't know. Maybe the concealer was like that too. Maybe I was just having a bad day the first time I tried it. But 4th place, Makeup Revolution. Conceal and Hydrate, or Conceal and Define. I do like that one too. In 3rd place, we have a new release this year, another CoverGirl. I'm telling you, they've been knocking it out of the park this year since they went cruelty-free. It is the True Blend Undercover Concealer. It is what I am wearing today, and I have a bunch of shades of this. I had purchased a couple, and I was sent a couple in that PR box. It works well both under the eyes, and if you're going to do a no foundation day and you just need to spot conceal and then use some powder, it works really well for that. It's the tiniest bit drying under my eyes, so for that reason, I usually make sure that I put an under eye primer or moisturizer on. I've been playing around with this e.l.f. Illuminating Eye Cream as my moisturizer under my eyes after my skincare. So I do moisturizer in my skincare, but when I sit down to do my makeup, I've been using this as like an eye primer and an under eye primer, and it's working really, really nicely. It does kind of offset the tiny bit of dryness that I get from this concealer, but very beautiful coverage for this one, and you can use it on your whole face. It smooths out everything very nicely. I really enjoy it. This one, number 2, was my surprise of the year. It's from Marc Jacobs. It is the Accomplice Concealer. The reason it was such a shock to me is because it's a stick. Ooh, good. I still have a lot left. I felt like I was running out of it because I was using it a ton. But I thought there was no way I could use a stick concealer under my eyes. This stuff has just a beautiful meltdown. It's a nice emollient kind of feeling to it. It's very hydrating feeling. Doesn't look dry in the slightest. Very, very, very good coverage, and can also be used on the face. It doesn't blend out as easily as a liquid concealer, but like if I'm just doing powder that day, I will do around my nostrils and spots, you know, a little bit in the center of my forehead, a little on my chin and my under eyes, and it works really, really well. Blends out beautifully. Really good coverage. Not drying at all. My favorite. One of these days I have to film an actual review of this because I started doing concealer reviews after I already fell in love with this. Why is my tube so dirty? It's the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. This stuff is just #1 in my book. It is like, Wayne Goss once described it in a video as spandex for your under eye. And I totally get what he means. Nothing like tightens or anything like that. It's not like that. But what you get is this, you know how sometimes spandex can just smooth everything out? It just smooths everything out. It's really smoothing. It's got really good coverage. I just wish I could get a lighter shade. So this is shade Fair 2. Shade 1 Fair is too yellow for me. So I wish there was a cool undertone that was a little bit lighter than this, because this is pretty much a skin tone match. I can use this for my whole face as well on a no foundation day. It is gorgeous. It is my favorite concealer of life. I would give up every other concealer in my world if this was the only one I could have. It's that good. It's good. Foundations. All right. I've got 10 and I've got some honorable mentions. So I want to start with the honorable mentions. CYO Life Proof. It would have been number 6, but since you cannot get it anymore, it's discontinued. I'm taking it off the top 10, but do know that I love it and have like 6 different shades of it in my bin here. I know that the Soap and Glory is supposedly exactly the same. Soap and Glory doesn't wear the same on me. It's just not quite exactly the same. I like the Soap and Glory, not as much as I like the CYO. So, fairly well. CYO, I will miss you. Honorable mention number 2 is the Revlon Candid, and I just feel like this is so good that I wanted to mention it. I really, really, really like this foundation, but I liked 10 other ones this one got knocked off the list, but I still wanted to mention it. So there's your 11th place, if I was to have one. I also want to mention 2 foundations that I've been wearing a ton since I reviewed them, which was only recently. So I think they're a little too new to put into my favorites for the year, but I've been wearing them a bunch, and I bought 2 shades of this one, Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I really love it. It's like, I've been in a very dewy situation this year. I have not been wearing a lot of matte foundations. This is like as close to matte as I will get right now, because it looks like a satin matte. It's very pretty. And the other one is the Shiseido Synchroskin Self Refreshing. I've worn them both a bunch. They wear really, really well. I just feel like I need a little bit more time before I can decide if they knock off any of these that I have lots of experience wearing. Let's get to number 10. This one's just like old trusty. I have to have this in here because if I've got a day where it's super hot and humid, or I know I'm going to be sweating a lot, I'm going to be outside, whatever, I know I'm going to be in rain, this is what I grab. It's the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place. It wears really well on me. It's very high coverage, and it's also it's a really good shade match for me. So whenever I'm buying new foundations and putting in the comparison shade, I always put in my Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in 1C1 Cool Bone. Also why you always see it swatched in my swatch videos, because it's the one that I'm picking based on this shade. So gotta have it in here. Number 10 is actually a tie. You see how I just sneak in extra ones here? They're very similar, and that's why I'm putting them as a tie. We've got the Kosas Tinted Face Oil, Tinted Face Oil. And I have a couple shades of this. It is beautiful, hydrating. My skin loves it. I can wear it even when my skin is flaking and peeling in the dead of winter, or if I've gone too crazy with my acids and my skincare. You can even wear it when your skin's not in the best condition, and it also helps improve your skin's condition. It's super hydrating. So I love it for that. If you want a little bit more coverage than this has, similar concept, the Clarins Skin Illusion, same thing. I can wear it even when my skin is a hot mess, but it definitely gives me the evening out of redness, and it's light coverage, but my skin enjoys it. Now, skincare benefits, I think there's a little bit more hydration and a little bit more skincare benefit in the Kosas, but I do thoroughly enjoy the Clarins Skin Illusion. I probably even reach for it a little bit more because it's a little bit more coverage than the Kosas is. I love them both. I wear them both a lot, especially on light makeup days. In 8th place, I have the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. My skin just really likes this one. It's a little bit more coverage than both of the previous two. It's still, I would say, light medium coverage at best. It's not a full coverage foundation, but it's very pretty on the skin. And because it's a serum type of foundation, it is super lightweight. It feels like nothing. It's very comfortable and just very pretty on the skin. One that I wore a lot this summer in 7th place is the Tarte Found Sealer. It has SPF 20, which is good. That makes it a really good summer foundation. Don't make this your only sunscreen. Definitely have a full sunscreen underneath your makeup. But like I said, you can never have too much. I like the packaging of this. It's just very handy. I used it. I traveled with it. I went to Ireland with it. And I just found that it wore really, really well. It's very rainy and humid over in Ireland, and it held up to that very well. This is my summer shade, so if I want to continue wearing it through the winter, I'm going to have to get another one. But I just might, because I thoroughly enjoy it. In 6th place, the one that broke the bank. Oh, goodness, you guys. It's the By Terry. This is the Densalus Terribly. This is the Anti-Wrinkle Serum Foundation. This is shade 5, which is like my summer shade. I wanted a lighter shade. I didn't want to use any, foundation mixers to lighten it, because the thing with this one is the skincare in it is so good that it's the only foundation where I take my makeup off at the end of the night and I swear my skin looks better than it did that morning. It's blows my mind because it still does it every single time. So I bought another shade, thought I was getting the right shade based on all the comparisons, bought shade 2. It's too light and too yellow. So here's $250 worth of foundation in my hands right now. But I do mix the two, and they mix really well. And I didn't want to return it because the whole process, So I've kept them both. So I mix these two, and it works out pretty well. I can also wear this when my skin is flaking, peeling, which is wonderful because it is a little bit more coverage. Not full coverage. It's, light, medium to medium. But it's so, my skin loves this stuff. And it's very, very pretty. Doesn't sink into lines, doesn't accentuate any of the stuff you don't want it to. It's really pretty. I did not want to like it at that price point. But I love it. So, there you have it. But, edging it out, probably because of price, NYX Born to Glow Naturally Radiant. I really like this stuff. It is super versatile. It's not super dewy, so it's just enough illumination that it's pretty, looks like plumped skin, like healthy plumped skin. Doesn't look dry at all, but you can apply this with fingers. You can do it as like a run and gun kind of thing. You can apply it with a sponge, with a brush. You can do a full face with it. You can do light makeup day with it. It's really, really versatile. And it's really pretty, and it's inexpensive, and it's cruelty-free, so liking it. The other one I used a ton in Ireland was the Pure Love Your Selfie. This is my winter shade, LP4. This stuff's nice. It's really nice coverage. Interesting thing, it's got the pump, but it is also a doe foot, so you could use it as concealer as well. It's okay as concealer. I still prefer my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away, but this stuff's very smoothing, and it's got really, really good coverage. Holds up to weather really well. I was in heat, humidity, and in the humidity in Ireland, and it wore really well. I would go for this one when I wanted more coverage, than the Tarte. These were the two main ones that I wore back and forth that 7-week trip. So thumbs up on the Love Your Selfie. It is pretty pretty. Third place. Oh, good one. CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made. I have 2 shades of this. In the summer, I mix them, shade 20 and shade 40. In the winter, I just wear shade 20. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of shade 40 in there because shade 30 is a little too yellow for me. But 20 is just a tiny bit too light for me unless it's like the dead of winter. This stuff is so nice. I know it has the word matte in the title, but it wears really a lot more like satin finish on me. Not really matte at all. Super comfortable, super long wearing, super easy to apply. It's not fussy. It doesn't need to be touched up throughout the day. Like, it's just easy. What do they say? Is that even their slogan anymore? Easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl? I don't know, but it's easy breezy and it's beautiful. So, yeah. And it comes in a gazillion shades. I think they have like 40 shades of the stuff. It's really, really, really good. Of all of these, I would say, if you haven't tried the Matte Made from CoverGirl, that is the one I would definitely say you should try. In second place, I have 5 shades of this stuff so I can wear it all year round if I want to. Easy to travel with. It is the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick. Again, I just would never believe that a stick would work so well. Oh, look how smooth and radiant it is. It blends like a dream. It is just like, you would never believe something coming out of a stick could be so just, you guys. My Shocks, this was from last year, I think, but it stays on my list because it is so good and so convenient and so pretty on the skin. It's a nice satin finish, and it just, look, you can't even see my blood vessels anymore. How wonderful. Yeah, it's good stuff. Number 1 in foundations. I'm wearing it today. It is the Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation. Just radiant enough to look plumped and dewy and healthy, but not shiny. Moisturizing, does not dry the skin out by the end of the day. Really pretty finish. Again, you can wear this very easily with fingertips, with a brush, with a sponge. You can do a full face, you cannot do a full face. It's versatile that way. It's super comfortable, feels like nothing. It's very lightweight on the skin. You know, I knocked the Dior Face and Body off the list, and it's not because I like it any less than I ever did. It's just that this year I've been primarily wearing satin to dewy complexion style foundations, but I will say Dior Face and Body is way up there. The other one I knocked off the list, and it wasn't because my opinion changed, it's just because I haven't been wearing matte foundations this year, is the YSL All Hours foundation. It is also excellent. If you have dry skin and you're looking for something with a matte finish and high coverage, check out the YSL All Hours. I took it off the list because, you know, someday this list is going to have like 25 foundations. And how can I have that many favorites? I don't know. I've tested like 150 foundations at this point. So, you know, there's going to be a lot that do work for me. When we get to that number of foundation reviews, we are up there, you guys. But there's my best of face makeup for 2019. What haven't I tried yet that you want to see? I've picked up a few of the new releases. They will be coming after we get through all of the best of 2019 videos. So I have the new CoverGirl that just came out. I'm going to pick up the new Maybelline that just came out. Both of them are dewy finish. I still have a few that I haven't tested yet in my bin that I had purchased already. Yeah, we got some foundation. Don't worry. The foundation reviews, there's always going to be another one coming. There you have it. What do I need to try? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for new videos. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have a happy new year. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.